So I'm going to start off with the user home pages. And the idea behind your home page is that this tells you everything that you need to know about your role and would present relevant information that needs your attention, and any tasks that might be assigned to you and be visible through here. So you can use this as your sort of single point of focus, and this then enables you to then drill into the individual records or tasks that you need to pay more attention to. In terms of the actual home pages themselves, it's possible to have multiple home pages. So if you're interested in different views of different information, then we can have multiple home pages for those. It's also possible to create standardized home pages as well. So you could have a sales rep homepage, an account manager homepage, a sales manager homepage, and each user would be given the relevant home pages for their particular role. It is also possible to create your own. So you could take a copy of your existing one that you've been assigned and then personalize that slightly if you want to view information in a slightly different way, or want some additional information on that homepage. But the idea is that you'll get a home page, and that should present you with all the information you need to be focusing in on the relevant areas. So in terms of this home page that I've got up in front of me, we've got a mixture of lists of information and also some graphical representation as well. So at the top of the screen, I've got my top opportunities. I've got some activities. A couple of those are overdue, so they're highlighted in red, just drawing my attention to the fact that some actions required there. Within the list of my top opportunities, there's also a search option. So if I want to focus on a particular opportunity, then I can go and do a quick search to find that. And from the dashboard, you've got the ability just to click on one of your options there, and that will take you into CRM itself, take you to the relevant record. In this case, it was to do with Abbott Limited. So it's taken me to their record so that I can then start to review that and interact further. I'm going to go back to the home page in just a second, but before I do, one of the key elements of our design of the system is that everything that you want to be able to do should be accessible within 1 click, 2 clicks at the most. So for example, I'm now looking at a particular customer record. On the right hand side, I've got some common tasks. So because I'm looking at a customer record, I might want to run off a detailed report for them, send them an email, send them a letter using a merge template, add a note or some sort of other activity, a meeting, a phone call, or a to-do on there. So all of those quick actions are available within a single click. If I was interested in the relationships we've got within that organization, then down at the bottom, I've got a contacts tab, and I can click on any of those individual contact names, and that will take me to that individual person's record and show me information about them. And then up at the top, I've got things like a new menu to create new records, schedule to create an activity from there. And for any of the options down the left-hand side that I've got access to, all I need to do is right-click on that option, and that gives me the related things such as create a new contact account, search for an existing one, or create a new group, which is a saved search within the system. So all of the key actions that I want to do are available from the screen that I'm in at that point. And in this case, I've gone from a home page into a record. I've reviewed the record. I might now want to go back to my home page. The small info icon on the top left takes me back to my home page with a single click as well. So very easy to navigate around the system and carry out tasks quickly and effectively. So further down, I had a couple of charts. So opportunities broken down by account manager, my pipeline broken down by stage. These are all configurable as well. So we've got different types of charts available, and we've got the ability to configure these charts and determine what information we want to see on the home page, how we want to analyze that. So do we want to break down opportunities by account manager or stage or by status? If we're looking at opportunities that are closed, do we want to analyze why we've won, why we've lost, to see what maybe the strategy needs to be on future opportunities based on that feedback? So very flexible in terms of the information that's being presented. Further down, I've got some more social aspects to the system. So on the right hand side, I've got some posts. So the Ming.le tool that Alan talked about at the beginning is also a collaboration piece. So it enables me to share information with my colleagues. I can tag them in that post. I can also just share general information and tag people, spread it out to the wider organization. And on my homepage, I might want to see posts that are of interest to me, so I can see from here what posts there are in my feed. There is also a main feed, which I'll touch on shortly, but I can get some of that information, a quick snapshot from the actual homepage itself. Further down, I've got another chart. So I've got a sales funnel looking at my overall pipeline. I've got my top prospects, some contracts that are close to expiry on there. And in the middle, I've also got some tasks. So these are tasks that have been generated by the system workflow. So if I click on the first of those tasks, then it tells me that there is a new lead, Graham Johnston, and I've been assigned a task from that. So on here, I can go in and say, okay, let's view the details of that task. So we've got a new lead and the system's asking me to follow up. It's given me some basic information on here, but what it's also doing, this purple icon here is a drill back within there. So if I click on that, then that will actually take me into CRM and say, okay, here is the lead, Graham Johnston, that you need to carry out some action on. So I might then go in, look up his details, give him a call, start to add some further qualification information, and then if it turns out to be a good lead, then I could convert that and turn him into a full-blown account of type prospect and an opportunity to start working through the overall sales process for that particular record. So from new records being created and assigned to me, I can get notifications on the homepage to tell me this record needs your attention. And similar to before, I can just click back on the icon to get back to the homepage and see what the next task is on my list. An important point to make around the tasks and workflow is, at the moment, I'm seeing this because I'm logged into the system. That's not always going to be the case. So as well as popping up as a task on my homepage, it can also be set up so that I would be sent an email alert for any task that gets generated and assigned to me. And there is also an app which will generate task alerts and enable me to review and process those tasks from the mobile device. So there's lots of different ways of getting notified of these tasks that have fallen into my work stream, and I can then process them in the most appropriate way depending on where I am at that particular moment. This first one was a pretty basic one. So in the middle of the screen, I've actually got the workflow activity locator. So this workflow is actually just a notification. It's just telling me there's a new lead, you need to follow it up. The next task is opportunity related, and now I can start to see there's a bit more detail to the workflow in this one. And in this case, I've got a workflow that says, okay, this opportunity needs to be reviewed. And depending on the amount of the opportunity, that's either going to be routed to the sales manager. In this case, is what's happened because it's turned blue down at the bottom path. If it was over a certain amount, it might have been routed to the head of sales for approval on there. So we can have different decision trees and routing of tasks depending on different criteria. So that could be sales amount in this case, but it could equally be other areas that we want to distinguish between as well. And from here, I can say, okay, show me the details of this task. Up at the top, once again, I've got a drill back on there, but this time I've actually got the option to assign it to me. The reason for that is that some of the tasks might not be sent to an individual. They could be sent to a group of people. So there could be 2 or 3 people that have got the ability to review and approve this particular task. So in this case, I'm going to say, okay, assign that to me. And then I get the option to approve or reject that. But I might want to actually look at it in a bit more detail before I make that decision. So if I go from there and go into the opportunity itself, one thing that's also happened with this particular workflow is once the workflow gets triggered, so the status set to request approval, the record's actually been locked down. That's optional. It doesn't have to happen as part of a workflow, but it can be useful. So in this instance, the record's been locked down while it's pending approval. So I can still go in and review it. Other people can go in and review it and look at it as well, but I can't progress it until a decision's been made about that particular workflow task. So on here, I could come in and have a look at the products that are on that opportunity, the contacts. I could see, is there a sales process in action? If so, where are we within this sales process? What activities have taken place so far? Am I satisfied with the progress? And am I satisfied that we should continue working on this particular deal? So in this case, I can say, yes, I'm happy with that. So I can go back to my workflow, and now I'm going to mark that as approved. This workflow also has a notification at the end. So I've done everything as the same user. Typically, the task would be assigned to a different user or group, and then the notification would go back to the original user to say that opportunity has now been assessed and it's been approved or rejected, depending on the flow. So I've also got a notification back as the salesperson just to say the opportunity has been approved. So I can say, okay, that's fine. And then if I go back into that and have a look at the opportunity again, then the status has now been updated to being approved. And you'll notice that those fields at the top are no longer grayed out. Because it's approved, the workflow's finished, it's now accessible again, and I can start to work on it, update it, and do whatever the next step is on that particular workflow. So that's sort of using the home page, drilling through to the relevant tasks. But essentially, what this home page can give you is just a single screen to manage your entire day. These are the tasks that I should be carrying out. These are the top opportunities or the top accounts that I should be focusing on. These are my activities. And that then takes me into the relevant record very quickly and easily to carry out those tasks. One of the other things that I touched on was the Ming.le aspect in terms of collaboration. So we've got these posts down the right-hand side. If I go up to the top, then I've got different applications. So I've got my home pages, I've got Infor CRM, I've also got one here called Ming.le. All of my tasks and assignments and notifications are also pulled through to my feed by default. But I can also then start to share information with people. So I'm going to say new report out today, maybe of interest. And I've got the ability to actually add an attachment to that. So there could be a report that a certain group of people within the organization might be interested in. So I've got the ability to make a post, add an attachment to it. I can then tag people or groups within there. So I can say, okay, Mark will be interested in this, or anybody that works in a particular group. I've got a couple of geographical ones on there. They don't have to be, they could be divisions, however people want to share information. So I might say, okay, I'm going to share that to anybody that's part of the Kenya group on there. And then I can say, do I want to share this post with just the people that I've tagged, everyone that I'm connected to, or just share it publicly? Everyone within the system will get that post, and they can choose to review the report or not. That's up to them. So I can make a post and share information out with other people. On the left-hand side, I can see my connections from an individual or also a group perspective. So if I was interested in one of my groups and say what's been happening in that particular group, then I can see someone's made a post about the regulator holding a review. That might have an impact on some of our opportunities. So just sort of other useful information that can be shared within a single area rather than lots of emails flying around the organization constantly. And this posting also links into the actual core CRM itself. So if I go back into CRM, then I'm on an opportunity record at the moment. If there was something about this opportunity that was useful or I needed help with, then I've also got the ability to share that information from there. So if I share that, then the opportunity itself gets tagged at the top, and I'm going to say I need help completing an RFP, and I'm going to tag in one of my colleagues. So he will now get an alert to say that I've tagged him in a post, and can he please review that and follow it up. So I'm going to share that. He's now going to get that post. I don't need to do anything, but in this case, I just want to go and see what's happened there. So I'm going to go back into Ming.le. And if I have a look at my main activity feed, then here's my post. I need some help completing the RFP, Mark Connell. He'll get an alert via his app, via an email, however he's got his particular preferences set up. If he then looks at that post, he'll also have the drill back to the opportunity, so he can quickly get into CRM to look at that deal, to find that RFP and see what help that he needs to provide me with that particular opportunity. So we've got the home page in terms of bringing stuff to your attention, but we've also got the collaboration piece to pull other individuals in to conversations and to tasks where appropriate within the various processes as well.